Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Collette. This is, I guess, part of our weekly community conversation. We're coming off a pretty cool weekend, sports weekend. Wearing my Red Sox hat. The Red Sox obviously are in this wild card game they have coming up on Tuesday against the Yankees. Exciting weekend in baseball. We had the Patriots playing the Bucks and Tom Brady back in New England. We all know how that turned out. I think we all probably knew how that was going to turn out, but it was a really good game. And then also before that, I was in New York at a two-day leadership academy put on by the co-CEOs of a company called Next Jump, Charlie Kim and Megan Messenger. And it was really, really inspiring to be a part of. Really just grateful to be invited to this. I was one of two people that were invited, and I got to take some folks. Some of the folks that you guys know. I took Leah, who her and I are business partners to Empowered RX. She was, formerly a coach at Prototype. Our general manager, Steve Semino, who's a close friend of mine. We've been friends. She just went to college together. Colin Lake, who's a member at Prototype and just one of my mentors, and Jay Chung, who Jay and I have known each other for, she's like 10 years, used to own Sapporo Korean Barbecue, the restaurant that's right next to Prototype. And we've also just been really, really good friends, and he's just awesome. So, I got to invite some folks, and there's a lot of learnings and stuff we took away. So I wanted to start this little mini series within the community conversation, calling it our leadership series. And it's not just about the stuff that I learned over the last couple of days, but it's also about the stuff that I put into practice over the last 9+ months of putting effort into my development as a leader and as just a person in general. And the first thing that I want to talk about is this concept of reps. And so, and again, I'm just kind of like spitballing here and just giving you my just very unfiltered thoughts. But this concept of reps and putting in the reps, we can relate it to what we do in the gym and how we get better at different exercises. Let's say, someone wants to get better at double unders or toes to bar, or something that involves a higher skill. We as coaches, want our clients and members, you folks that might be listening, to put in the reps, do those reps, but also do that on a more consistent basis, right? So, related to playing an instrument or doing anything, the more time you invest in putting into that practice, the better that you're going to get at it, right? And then there's the idea of the perfect practice makes permanent. We've all heard that before. But as it relates to like growth and as a leader, putting in the reps yourself before having other people put in those reps is one of the biggest things that I've taken away, not only just from this 2-day leadership academy, but also from this leadership training that I've been doing over the last 9 months. And just in full transparency and honesty, I'm one of those people that I learned some stuff and I love the concepts and the ideas behind it. And then I would get on the preach wagon and preach to do those things. But I also wasn't the type of person that would put the hard work in myself and do those things necessarily to necessarily have the confidence to actually tell someone else to do it. I could think of a bunch of different examples, but let's think of it in the context of leadership, telling someone to go off and do something or try something and say that, do this and do that, and that's going to work. That'll help you overcome this challenge. I might have read that from a book, or it might be a quote that I've used from some different leadership books and whatnot, but I never really put it into practice myself. And that's been one of the biggest takeaways for me in general by going through a lot of this leadership, is actually putting it in practice. And Charlie Kim and Megan Messenger, they put on this weekly session through their community online academy called Leadership in Practice. And routinely they have talked about reps, talked about consistency with those reps, doing things often, doing it, if you want to get better at avoiding difficult situations, you want to get better at, not avoiding difficult situations or not avoiding conflict or having difficult conversations, that you have to put in the reps and do it consistently. And the thought of reps and doing it consistently, right? There's the theory of that, and then there's the practice of that. So the takeaways that I've had is like how to put those things into practice. And big concept, big theme is doing these things in an environment that you feel safe and you feel comfortable. And I've created some different small groups within like our team at Prototype, and a bunch of small groups as related to the Community Online Academy. We call those like leadership think tank or resiliency training small groups. At Prototype, we call it our Prototype Leadership Academy. A group that I formed with some other gym owners, we call it our Tinker Leadership Academy. And there are these small groups where we can kind of share our struggles, be vulnerable, put our fears out there, but also have a group that's not only going to support us, but hold us accountable and call us out on our shit. And so the idea of being able to practice and put things into practice, try different things, as it relates to, like, let's say it's a difficult conversation, or you want to change some sort of behavior, doing it in an environment where you feel safe versus doing it for the first time in an environment where might have a higher level of risk. So the easiest example is you want to improve your ability to have difficult conversations. And you're just like, I'm gonna have a difficult conversation. You go right out and just have that difficult conversation with your boss, and you're fully transparent and very candid and haven't had enough reps or practice with having those sorts of conversations. It might be too high risk and maybe get fired or something bad happens as a result. So being able to put that deliberate practice in, put those reps in, and then do that on a routinely basis with people that you trust, whether it's in a small group or having another individual you can kind of bounce back and forth with. And then this leads to the whole idea of this consistency in these reps, with these things becoming habits. So if we want to identify ourselves as someone who is a leader, you need to not only put those reps in consistently enough that's going to show people that you're putting you're going both feet in to the swamp and getting dirty. You also, as those reps continue to progress and you continue to improve and get better, that becomes a habit, right? And we talk about habit forming as it relates to getting better from a fitness perspective, from a health perspective, building solid routine habits that are going to make a lasting impact on your health. That could be waking up early in the morning and getting your first workout in every single Monday to start your week off right. That could be doing the 5 o'clock, 6 a.m. class every single day. From an easy perspective, you wouldn't start with every single day. You'd start maybe doing that once a week or twice a week, and you build up that habit, and then you just add on more and add on more. And for some folks, this might seem natural, especially as it relates to like fitness and exercise. But when you think about some of the other things in life that you want to improve on, and maybe that's like your ability to have a candid conversation with your spouse, or be able to not overreact to smaller inconveniencing things. You can also put into practice other habits to build that muscle and build that strength, so you can build that habit of not doing the things that you don't want to do anymore. And I hope that makes sense to what I'm saying, is that we can take the same idea of building habits that you would build to get and be a healthier person and identify as someone who's fit, just like you could implement some of those habits to be a better leader, better communicator, a better parent, father, son, daughter, wife, et cetera, you name it. You can put things into practice and do it routinely. And from my experience is that it takes time. Over the last 9 months, I've been doing a lot of different stuff, and I've grown as a person, but I wouldn't say that I've made massive leaps and bounds. It's been just the act of being consistent and doing things deliberately. I might be, I was saying over the last couple of days in this leadership academy, I may be 4 or 5% better. But if I keep doing that and keep upping the level of difficulty, I'm convinced that I'm going to continue to improve as a person. And so the idea is putting this into practice yourself. And that's the biggest takeaway that I want you guys to take from today, with this idea of putting in the reps, the things that you want to get good at, the things that you want to get better at. Again, whether it has to do with your health or your fitness, or you being just a better person, you have to put in the reps, and you have to do it consistently, and you have to stick with it. It's not a 1 week thing, not a 2 week thing. We live in a world where we want instant satisfaction. We want instant change right away. That's not what it's about. I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about here. Yes, Mike, I know what you're talking about. Yes, you're shaking your head, you're nodding your head. Yep, I get that. But it's the deliberate action of doing it and sticking with it. The thought is doing something consistently for about 13 weeks. Or if you want to try something different or try something new, do it a few times consistently to see how that feels, see what that is like before you say yes or no. Don't do something once and say, I'm not doing it anymore. Do it a few times, give it a chance, right? As it relates to building and becoming more routine and more of a habit, if you really, really want to do something, stick with it for 13 or so weeks. Let that become a habit. Let that become something natural that you do, then start to turn that dial up and increase that level of difficulty. So this is like the first little tidbit in my leadership series. And this one is all about putting in the reps. Feel free to reach out to me anytime you'd like. If you have any questions or thoughts, or maybe you have some stories as it relates to this, my email is mike@prototypetraining.com. And I appreciate you all listening today. Thank you.